Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of ClarITea Chat. Today we have an experienced leader with us on ClarITea Chat. Let's meet V Srinivasa Rao, or VSR as he is fondly called, former Chief Digital
Hi.
Officer of Mahindra. Hi VSR.
Hi, Jadish. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening VSR, and good evening to all our friends out there. We can already see many people joining in. So VSR was the CDO of Tech Mahindra. He built pioneering systems, processes, and solutions for enterprise clients across the globe during his stints with multiple companies, starting from TCS, ending with Tech Mahindra. He's now an entrepreneur and an author. He has written a book, Lean Digital Thinking, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
So, VSR, I hope you have your cup of tea ready.
Of course, yeah. This is with tea, right? So I brought
That's
it, but it's not it's a paper cup.
that's perfectly fine, as long as it's a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Okay. So, friends, this ClarITea Chat session will bring out all the case studies, learnings, and success principles that made VSR what he is today. So, we'll have a freewheeling chat about transforming from a small town mechanical engineer cubed, as I call it, diploma, BTech, MTech in mechanical, and then deciding to join TCS, to a sophisticated software leader. Uh, we will discuss his learning from failures, about Tech Mahindra digital transformation, an interesting chat around uh, reality check on SIE ecosystem and how to leverage them well. He's a social digital entrepreneur, as he calls himself. If you look at his LinkedIn profile, he's on a number of forums. That's one way of giving back. But the highlight of this chat will be his book, The Lean Digital Thinking. We'll end the chat with a rapid fire round, and then he will ask me a reverse question. It's called the
Sure.
revenge round. I'll be asking him questions, and he'll have an opportunity to take the revenge. So VSR, my biggest takeaway from our prep chat was your philosophy of visualizing and designing your future, and also taking your teams and stakeholders along towards a common vision. So we'll discuss in detail as it will come out very clearly in our chat. So
Sure.
VSR, before we start talking about your journey, first tell us about the starting point when you did not know English, you did not know Hindi, and you had an interesting incident in an alien land. Tell us about that.
Yes. Even I did not know Tamil, where I did my master's in engineering in Coimbatore.
Okay,
So
okay, that's
in Coimbatore, we can manage with Telugu most of the time. So, I completed my master's. After that, I got TCS and DRDO as a scientist. I chose to join TCS. At that time, software was sort of booming. So first I joined at Delhi. You know that at Delhi, hardcore Hindi. And I was not proficient in English also. So it is very difficult to mix up with the teams there. They talk 90% of the time in Hindi, even in the office. Okay. So you don't understand properly. So one joke I will tell you. One of my friends asked, "Can I join you?" Aate aa jate ja. I told. What is that meaning? He asked me. I told, if you want to come, you come. Otherwise, you go. That's where my intent of telling Aate aa jate ja. I don't know whether it was right or wrong. Okay. Aate aa, it's a true translation of Telugu to Hindi, right?
okay.
So those were the moments at Delhi. But somehow struggled to write a four fields program myself, my colleagues who joined mechanical engineers, so-called. They joined into the coding, which was a very boring job at that time. So it took 1 week, day and night, and the project manager and the module leaders were surprised. Why this half-an-hour program? These guys are writing 7 days, day and night, right? So that was the stage, but it was a great platform at Tata. I always believe one is I'm born from Tata as a leader. So a Tata product, of course, Mahindra product also. So that's
Sure.
one. And second, English. When you talk about that, funny stories happened when I first went to US. After 9 months of my joining in TCS, I got an opportunity to go to US, where I told my boss I don't want to go. He said, Are you a fool? there are some kilometers of people are standing there to go to US. Just go. Then I went there. Two incidents I share. So one is I went to MACD there first day, second day. I asked for something. Then one of the who is serving there told me something. I said yes. Then she gave me. I took to my office and whatever the food items. Second day I went. Say something they said I did not understand the accent. They said yes. Then they gave me to eat there. I did not understand. I said answer yes, but what she said or what the other guy said, I did not understand. It took me 10 days to 15 days to know that they are saying here to go. You want to take here or you want to go? Okay. I did not understand the accent and English, so that was the level. I used to also. I mean, it's very difficult to manage the accent. 96. I went to first time and all. So again, everything your technology abilities solved. A lot of problems helped you, and also the amount of effort you put it. After that, I realized that I have to improve. So maybe thousands of wherever opportunity comes in Tata TCS, you go and talk. People laugh, people smile. It doesn't matter. Just go and speak, learn. I think somewhat improved. I don't say I'm great even today in English, but yes, we can manage.
Okay, no, that's really good. So before we go ahead, are you hearing an echo? Yeah, can you guys hear me? VSR, am I echoing? I seem to be echoing
For
to
me, it's
myself.
clear. For me, it is clear. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
For me, it is quite clear. Yeah.
Okay. So before going ahead, I would request our audiences to share their name and where they are joining from in your comment box. And meanwhile, let's see who all have joined us. So we have Subbu joining from Prague. Hey, thanks Subbu for joining. So Subbu himself was on ClarITea Chat some episodes back. Yeah, Sumit, thank you for joining and thank you for welcoming everyone. Chandra, thanks for
Right.
joining.
My friend.
Yeah, Vikram, again, thanks for
Yes.
joining. So we have,
My yeah.
Seshu from Hyderabad. We have Jagdish. Jagdish, the echo has stopped on my side. I don't know if it is still coming on your side. Um, we also have Surya Maya from Bangalore, Vikram from Hyderabad, Pawan from Kolkata. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so VSR, you talked about your the initial years in Calcutta. So tell us, you had three sort of stints of mechanical engineering. You know, the diploma, B Tech, and M Tech, and then you had two choices. So what were they, and what was your first job like?
I think I got DRDO as a scientist. That is the first job. And I got TCS. Even I got ISRO interview, but I did not prefer to go there because I want to choose between DRDO and TCS. So after so much of exploration, talking to friends, family, and all, I decided to go to Tata Consultancy Services. But my professors were not happy. They said you did mechanical engineering, 3 years diploma, and another 3 years BTech, and another 1.5 year MTech. All this get wasted. Why are you going to software engineering and all? But finally, anyhow, I took a. But yeah, it was great journey in technology. There is nothing like you might lose something to get something. So if I can't, probably if I were in DRDO, probably I could have followed Dr. Kalam's path and try to do something great for the country.
Yeah. Okay. So where this echo is coming from? So VSR. Can you hear me, VSR?
Yes, it's perfect for me. I don't have issues.
Is it okay? Can you hear me, VSR? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Yes. Are you able to hear me?
I seem to be having some trouble. Just bear with me.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Yeah. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, I'm able to hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, very well, very well. So, okay, so we'll
Perfect.
continue.
Yeah.
Sorry, friends, for that little bit disruption. I'm using an external mic, and that probably created some problem. Okay, so VSR, being a mechanical engineer, I think initially you had a bit of confidence issues. And tell us that incident with Debu, which kind of just changed your trajectory.
Yeah. So I went first time after 9 months, 2 years. So just simply like everyone, I did not know what was the meaning of a vision, objectives, or something called creativity, innovation. So my friend and myself, he was from Calcutta. So myself and uh, he stayed in the same room. He realized that there is something, a talent which I have, which I am not able to leverage it and express it to the customers. Okay, because I started doing so many, because we were in the same room, right? I used to do something. I think if we do like this, we were in the same project also. So when I started telling we could do like this, we could do like this and all, then he motivated me and told, I think you have something, an hidden talent, you have to unlock that. So that's where I am always thankful to him. He is from Calcutta. So after that, what I did was, as I said, I think I did not tell you, first project I got into Betas Pascal and A series mainframe. I was not interested in that, but my boss told, because you are not interested, but this is a new skill you learned. Somehow I learned that. After that, in the US also, again, it was a tandem mainframe, a fault tolerant machine, tackle and all. So, but I went there. So what I did was I developed so many automation tools. Of course, now we call so many things like DevSecOps and AI and all. Of course, it was not the case 96, 97 time. But there are so many utilities and the tools were developed by me using Tackle, TAL, and all languages. With that, what happened was for every customer come to my customer, right? Usually they were in a banking software, my customer. There was an upgrade projects like 100, 200 banks were there. They have to upgrade them. So all those banks, when they come, they stay 3 months at US. Along with us, we represent the company which has the banking software. We used to do that. Every day, we were able to save $1,000 at the time as far as the human interventions required, because a lot of automations which they never imagined, they never thought of course. So it may not be that great. So with that, I think I realized that the automation power and how the productivity quality can be improved, not just like you said, the processes are important, but the processes, if they are not automated, at that time also I realized and made sure that the overhead is reduced, the cost was reduced for every customer, every day $1,000, 3 months, almost. It's an average. That's a great recognition happened to me, and I think it was wonderful.
So that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Oh no, I think I'm not able to get rid of the echo.
Oh,
Is it okay now?
for me, perfectly all right. I'm not sure, Jagdish, for others.
Yeah, no. I think I'm getting uh, feedback that there's an echo on my side. But I think okay. Let me try to speak a little slowly. I hope it's okay now.
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up if it's okay? Okay, good. Okay. So,
So I think I want to tell my friend name is Dhruvojit Das, something like that.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, so VSR, I mean, this is like a good, I would say, early peek into your what I call as a product mindset. That is like whatever you're doing, you try to convert it into a reusable, sort of collateral, which with very less effort can be used again. So that's the product mindset, right? So it can start even with, let's say, a template for a letter, a template for a proposal, right? So that's the product mindset. So you showed it very early. So tell us, I actually want to give a lot of time to your book, VSR. So let's go through it, other stuff a little quickly. So you had some failures early on. One where you were almost threatened with a lawsuit to your company. So tell us about those failures, and what were your learnings from them, and what did you do to bounce back?
Maybe two major failures. One I bounced back, and other I got sunk. So the first one was when I was in my first company, TCS. We were doing some government projects. So I was responsible for Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, and the other project managers were there. I was sort of given a challenge at 3.5 years of my career. That's where the great part of Tata, the TCS. I think they throw you into the ocean. If you swim, you are the hero. Otherwise, they will say they give a helping hand. Buddy, you need some more time. Come out, learn something, and then swim again. Right? So at 3.5 years, I became project manager for 35 people team. But what happened was, I don't want to blame anyone, but when you share the load among multiple centers in a company, right? Bombay, Lucknow, Hyderabad, and all. So, for example, Hyderabad requirements, that means AP and Tamil Nadu requirements also needs to be covered by others for all modules if you divide, right? Okay, let us say if I'm responsible for 10 modules, others 10 modules, other 10 modules. 10 modules, I'm responsible for all. But what happened was when they released this product is ready and we delivered without doing any testing at Hyderabad, which came from other centers, then it backfired. So the requirements given by AP and Tamil Nadu were not meeting there. Probably they focused on their customers' requirements and all. Then one thing helped there is the relationship, even at that age. So I used to have an extraordinary relationship with the topmost of X, and on the second level, I went to second level. I told this is the problem. I don't want to hide. I need 10 days. If I fail, then you escalate it. But please give me 10 days. I will turn it around. If I don't do that, then you escalate it, then I will take the blame. But thankfully, my friend gave 10 days time. Day and night we worked, we cleaned it up, and we made sure that project basically gone. So the relationship became a cushion there. Even it was a failure, and we bounced back. That's the first one. Second one, very horrible failure. So with this project success, when you are in India, when you are having a support from so many entities, and my success I attribute to 50% of the quality management system of TCS at that time. I don't know how it is today, right? So on 50%, of course, my struggle, and maybe some senior people, you go and ask them some support and all. Okay, now you became a superstar. 5 years, you became assistant consultant in TCS. At that time was the fastest track growth. And then you went to UK as an account manager for one of the accounts which just started. You have to grow it. And one more guy who was my peer, exactly, we were close friends also. We both went there. But two challenges I faced there. I went with hyper confidence that when I was able to manage this 35 people project, can't I do that even in London? But it is a wrong assumption. So we took the people with Visual Basic and mainframe guys trained in Java. Java at that time was very new, and no architect was there. So we went there, and there were some people from different countries. Backlash was there on outsourcing and all. And testing was done by 20 years experienced people. These kids are not able to stand along with me. Then it is a complete failure. Then that failure, anyhow, it's tried my level best. So what the findings there is, my project management or account management is exceptional, but not able to have the right crew to take it forward. So client wants to sue us with around $1 million and all. So as usual, you know that the next guy will say that your boss, you failed, you did not do it and all. All those blame game will be dealt. So I sent a very blasting mail to him like, who gave this job to you? You don't fit for this job. That's the mail I sent to my boss. Then one of the senior guys, sort of my mentor, told me, don't send mails like this. Send mails like love letters. If you want to blast, take a phone and blast. But of course, even phones you record, at that time it was not that much popular, right? So finally, okay, the lessons learned here is good team is required, and that is the mistake I did it. But I realized, but the organization has to support where it is required. That did not happen at that moment of the time. And third, but we safeguard there is my project management exceptional. We were able to prove a point with my review, minutes of meetings, status cards and all. 60% problem is with you, my dear friend. 40% is with us. Sorry, this doesn't work. I think let us move forward and then do something. So that's where I think a failure, but not able to bounce back, but able to safeguard the company with project management at that time. It is around 2000.
With project management, documentation.
The project management, in my view, is nothing but without documentation, no proofs. Who can really trust us, right? We should have that. So you raised one point. I always tell my team, even today, okay, if you as a project manager, you should see at least 3 weeks ahead. If you are a delivery head, I'm talking about SI language. You have to look at least 3 months. If you are a CEO, you need to look at least 3 years what is going to happen. If that level of predictability is not there to you, then I'm sorry, you better don't take that role. You have to predict and you have to mitigate.
Oh, that's an interesting VSR. I'm still like a little bogged down by this echo that I'm hearing, and I'm sure my audio is also doing. So anyway, let's move on. VSR. Again, I want to spend more time on your book, so let's quickly talk about your next set of stints in Infosys, iGate, Satyam, and just talk about one big achievement and maybe one big learning from each of these assignments.
Yeah, I think after 7 years I left Tata, but that's the first company probably when I saw Ratan Tata in the airport, I got tears. So I'm leaving this company. But after that, I did not get tears leaving any company. Okay, that's the association with Tata, because if that was a pride when we go. Why another important point, when I go out, when the Tata brand is there, my confidence used to go up 100 times. It's just a brand, Tata, right?
Yeah,
so Infosys 2-year stint, exceptional. I was always top, but I found a difference between first and second company is like risk-taking ability. As I said, my first company asked me to do the project management at 3.5 years of experience, but you basically see in the second company quite opposite. So they test you, they basically, whatever the past, they don't care. So it took 6 months for me to prove myself, and after that I got most valuable award from Narayana Murthy as one of the best achievers, and be the best award. That means I took again, usually Jagdish have an attitude of creating opportunities. I don't believe in doing this work, what is my responsibility. That's my attitude is, I think 15 to 20% additional time I have to spend by creating new opportunities. One of the opportunities created in Infosys was be the best. That means we want to make sure that the Infosys Center, which started with 150 people, I was one of them there in Hyderabad. There was no brand at that time in this part of the world. I took the challenge, and we come up with at that time with Kakal was the center head. So be the best program, and we made sure that we get the award, and we basically, that is another great achievement I can tell. So there only my leadership team told VSR is basically a strategy to execution guy. It's not just talking something, and he executed and he delivered the results. I think that's a great achievement. After that, I joined iGate. It was something like we all come from Infosys. Of course, I came from Mohan Shekhar route, not the other route. So he was the delivery head and chief delivery officer and all. There the challenge was, I never worked in SAP Oracle, Enterprise Solutions. Till that time, you were working only in managing projects, IBM Visual Ace for Java, or something like Oracle Developer 2000, Designer 2000 and all. So Mohan Shekhar told me, hey, there is some challenge. You want to take it up? This is SAP on Oracle. Okay, challenge. Right. What's that? That means you elevate one more level up. All right. Joined as a delivery manager there. So I realized in 3 days of my assessment, there was one company acquired by iGate, and it was like a hot woman. It was a hostile acquisition. Okay. So a few examples. You imagine how much hostile was there. The senior managers of the practice left with 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes scheduled resignations. Came to me as a mails. It's a planned resignations. Next to them, the 11 team leaders left in a month. And imagine the story now, every day till 2 o'clock, every customer blasts you. But I never told that there is a situation like this because I told them there's a problem, right? Somehow managed, but I recruited 35 people without knowing SAP Oracle with my just what I need is leadership and ability to learn and a good attitude. They told I worked in SAP and Oracle, you believed that, right? So I basically assessed them. 6 months it took, and we turned it around. And then I went to US and met customers. Then I think everything set right. 2 years I did there. After that, I felt usually there is a problem and an opportunity. I want something new. I can't work in a monotonous, repeated environment. So after that, then I got a call from Satyam. I know one of the friends, Vijay Prasad, is my close friend. Of course, he's elder to me. So then I joined Oracle there, Oracle practice. Okay, so there I think 2 years, 2 months stint in Satyam. I joined as a head of all emerging practices, Oracle retail, Oracle healthcare, Oracle life sciences, Oracle etc. All verticalizations thing and all. You know, the 2009 the crisis happened, right? That's what the first time I think the Indian IT got shaken up, the whole world got shaken up. The incident happened in Satyam. So by the time I completed just 2.5 years, so then a lot of senior people left or asked to go in Satyam once the Tech Mahindra took over. Then I became the global head for Oracle. Tech Mahindra gave me an extraordinary opportunities. These young guys can do better job. They gave me an opportunity to lead a $125 million business at that time, right? You imagine now, nobody wants to work with us. We were untouchable. We were untouchable to industry analysts, untouchable to the partners. Nobody wants to join us. One of the business tycoon in IT industry made a statement that Satyam is tainted, Satyamites are tainted, and nobody please don't join and don't take them to our organization. And unfortunately, it was not the problem of the employees. At that time, I was the president of PMI PCC. PMI now today I addressed it here, right? PMI Pearl City chapter. Deloitte invited me to address them on project management. Then I went to Deloitte with Satyam logo. It just happened the scam 2 3 days or 1 week before that. Some people said don't go with Satyam, and I said I will go with Satyam and I talk. I represent Satyam. Okay, so the boat should not sink. That was the attitude, right? And it took 3 years, believe me, Jagdish, it's not an easy job. How to create that positive brand in all stakeholders, customers, employees, partners. And we remember the days where we closed the doors in Mahindra Satyam when we asked to some of the people to leave because of the challenges, because we don't want any incidents happen there, right? We put an ambulance. And it was a great change management, and I can never experience such type of a thing, and I don't want also. But 3 years later, I brought Oracle practice to 200 million, and it was in Gartner Challenger quadrant, which they don't want to even assess us. And we became a platinum partner at that time. It was greatest status for Oracle. Diamond was there, of course. That's one. That's I think the great story there. It's a great learnings for me.
I must say that that is this is an amazing demonstration of leadership, because like when things are down and out, you need somebody who would sort of get up and say, guys, things will be all right. I mean, somebody did something, that doesn't mean that everyone has to suffer for that. And I think you need just one person to, like, just be the flag bearer, and be that proud person who says, not your fault, not my fault, not somebody's fault. Somebody did something doesn't mean that all of us are bad. But that's a good example of leadership, VSR. So VSR, let's quickly now come to your TechM stint, and tell us, like, a couple of stories about the digital transformation in TechM that you undertook.
Yeah, I think
Then,
after Oracle stint, I want some new challenge again. 3 years over now, it is quite normal operation. So that again don't give you kick, right? So you have to take up some other challenge. So I think probably I was one of the pioneers, probably in starting the digital businesses in the IT industry in India, like in companies. Like there are so many companies out there. So we started something called NMAX at Tech Mahindra. So you know that one company called Smack, another company told Closomo, Soclomo, Nmax, Smack, and all. I think we collaboratively confused the customers with all these jargons, right? So 6 months we invested a lot on this Nmax. So that means networks, mobility, mobile, and analytics. Then cloud. S means three things: sensors, social media, and security. That's where Nmax was there. So when we go to the customer, passionately going, telling them now the world is with these rainbow technologies, I used to call that. Nmax is a rainbow technologies. Then people used to ask, is it a stack? Is it a platform? Is it a strategy? When to use which technology? Okay, Nmax, but when to use which technology? So we were not able to give answers. It took 6 months, but we invested a lot on branding Nmax. Usually we used to have in Tech Mahindra every year hundreds of analysts we used to have in every country, because we want to tell that what new innovations we brought in, how it will help the customers and all. Now I have to change that Nmax to something else. After investing this much, you know how much resistance will come from even management, right? Then subtle way we changed that. I don't want to get into the story, called digital enterprise business. Satyam was known for Oracle, SAP, BI. It was better, or one of the best companies at that time. And Tech Mahindra was known for cloud, networks, the telecom, mobile, and all. So that means at that time, digital means only that: mobile, cloud, and network. Of course, now digital means a lot of things are there, right? So when Tech Mahindra is known for digital and Satyam was known for enterprise solutions, why not we call a digital enterprise solutions or digital enterprise business? I think that changed the whole game. Then we, myself and along with the team, we gave a definition to a characteristic to digital enterprise means what. So some 6 characteristics identified, and then we did a crowdsourcing. At that time, I did not know even there was a name called crowdsourcing. Of course, I realized it is crowdsourcing. All vertical heads we invited. We had discussions, just simply how to move Tech Mahindra. My charter was 39 units. We have to make them digital to offer digital solutions to my customers. That was my charter, right? So you have Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, IMS, engineering services, general Javas of the world, and then you have sales, marketing, then pre-sales, all functions, right? All cylinders have to be fired. We basically get into that orbit of digital. So that was a great challenge. 2 learnings I want to give you here, just quickly. So one is IT companies are known for, in the past, even now, maybe tier 1, they mastered a little bit. We used to sell, I have 350 case studies, I have 4,000 people, I have great, probably PeopleSoft competency, Oracle competency. It's the technology abilities, number of people, number of case studies, and we were the pioneers in global delivery model. Everybody says that. One of the CEO told me, VSR, you remove that logo. Which Indian company is not saying the same thing? You guys are the same. You guys tell the same thing, right? So that triggered, hey, I think this is not the way we sell digital. At that time itself, it started. The budgets are moving to businesses. Business guys are becoming more and more decision makers, CMOs. All these things are coming in, right? Then we changed the game. We introduced 8 new offerings. Okay, 8 new offerings. That means you have to redesign your services, right? That is a sort of a template, and all practice units, SAP, Oracle, all businesses have to make sure they have to contextualize these offerings to suit to their technology. That's one. Another one important thing we did it is, I introduced something called Digital Business Solution Store. App Store was very famous at that time, App Store and all. Then out of this crowdsourcing, we got 150 solutions, where the solution is nothing but business problem. Then what is the sort of challenge context it is, and what solutions are there in the market, what deficiencies are there, and what are all in the solution in that problem context, if any regulatory or economic challenges happening in the world, consolidate all those things and define a problem statement. That's a business problem statement. Design the solution using technologies. That means what? A design solution means, hey, what process change I have to bring in if I bring this here, cloud and analytics on mobile together, can I change this process? Or any new skills to be introduced at the customer side? Or any new service to be offered at the customer side? That's where your solution design happened with consolidation, convergence of technologies. After that, we call, okay, now we need IT services to implement the solution. That means that is a 20% of my selling. 80% of my selling is I know your industry, I know your business problems, I know what your competition is doing, I know what solution deficiencies are there available, what your future looks like. This is the way the solution to be implemented. This is the combination of technologies to be used. Now, to make this happen, these I will do mobile apps development, I do something like analytics, or I do BPM, all those. That really clicked like anything. That's it. I think it got into the orbit now. Okay, but one thing I learned there, it is very difficult to change in the SA industry or any industry what they have been doing for last 30 years. Sales guys especially, delivery is different. You were selling people, technology capabilities, case studies. Now you have to sell solutions. So solution selling capabilities needs to be taught to the people. I covered 400 plus sales guys, traveled all countries, everywhere. But you know one thing? Probably we were successful 10%. 50 people were ready to sell. Others are in a comfort zone. That's one. Second, customer challenged me. I like your passion. I like your all frameworks you built it and proof of concept you built it. What you have done within your organization. Then blank
Important
face.
question.
Yeah.
Important
Then blank face. Oh my God, this is something I never realized that. Okay, I was only focusing service offerings. Yes, service offerings have to be chosen to go to the market, right? But what about your internal operations? Have you digitalized? What about your sales process, marketing process, delivery process, pre-sales process, right? Or any business model? So all these things have to be looked at. That's where the Digital Tech Mahindra and our parent company, Digital Mahindra, the programs born. Okay, so I worked with CAO at that time. We realized that at that time it is something like you learn, right? What you are doing internal, right? So we declared that we are something like a consulting firm to you, Mr. CAO. My team will help you to digitalize. Then a lot of surprises, a lot of things to be closed as a gaps, right? So that's where we learn. Oh, okay, it's not that easy. Just go and tell. So these are all the things needs to be done. So when you do internally, you learn a lot, and you know the loopholes. Okay, you get the best practices. So that's the journey.
No, absolutely. I think a few big takeaways from there. One is, you know, I mean, the start of the solution is always with the business problem. It's not with technology. I think you know, somewhere as products and product companies and SIs, we are like, you know, too enamored by the technology, the beauty of the technology itself, right?
Correct.
Instead of like, you know, what problem it will solve for you. And I think that's a very big takeaway that, you know, start with the business problem, define it well, let the customer be confident that you understood the problem well
Correct.
before you start figuring out a solution. The second big takeaway, and you know, I call it two ways. One is Chirag Tale Andhera, is darkness below the lamp. And the other thing is like eating your own dog food. So what you're going and selling in the market, are you using it yourself or not? You know, I used to actually do it when I was a CIO, that I would say that, you know, the IT has to first eat its own dog food before we go and let's say ask the businesses to use Link for training. You know, at that time it used to be Link. Teams used to be Link.
Oh, right, yeah.
So before we offer Link as a training platform to business, let us first develop our own internal capability as IT to deliver IT trainings on Link. Okay, and it's not easy, you know, setting up those processes and everything. So I think some really big takeaways, and you know, for all the tech people who are listening to it, one big way to sell to your customers can be, you know, basically taking your CIO in front of customers, and you know, asking him to tell a tale of how you have implemented it within your organization.
Absolutely.
Some really big takeaways there, VSR. So VSR, there's a question which I had, which I'll come to later, which is about the Indian SIs. But I want to really jump on to your book again in the interest of
Right.
time, the digital thinking. So tell us about I'm sure this book really distills all your knowledge and experiences of a few decades of experience. So tell us about your book and how it can help people in their digital transformation.
Right. So first, I think important trigger point when I was addressing audience at Australia in analyst meeting, I said IT era is dead. Then immediately the CEO said, "What are you talking? How we can say IT era is dead and all? IT is dead." And I said, "I never said IT is dead. I said IT era is dead." So what does it mean? As organizations, I realized we as IT organizations or system integrators cannot survive, sustain with just IT. The future is in DT. I defined at that time that DT is nothing but digital technology, is the fusion of IT, or you say, let us start like that. I redefined CAO just to make it simpler. Communication collaboration technologies plus information technologies plus operational technology, which we never worked in our lifetime as IT guys. Operation technology was somewhere in the shop floors or some other very niche, right? That was entirely different, right? And communication collaboration also, we used to have whatever required. We never gone to detail. So that means the telcos were there for communication, and maybe the Caterpillar or Siemens type companies were there for the OT, and we are the IT guys. So first thing, there is a paradigm shift required in our thinking. Solving problems with technology means with the fusion of technologies. That's where IT plus CT plus OT. Of course, now you call biotechnology, nanotechnology, later you can add so many things, right? So that is the first trigger point for me. That's one change we have to bring in. Fundamentally, that is one. And second, as IT companies, if you look at 1950 onwards, what we focused was processes. IBM mainframes, then mini frames, client server, internet, SaaS. What we talk, supply chain management process, CRM process, PL, new processes got added. But what you did, you automated, now you digitalized. When I say digitalized, you add a mobile access or you integrate with some IoT and all. But everything is something like a process digitalization. But that doesn't help. My experience when I spoke to so many people, when I was in Tech Mahindra with CXOs and CAOs and CTOs, I realized that technology is not just for processes. That's where I realized there is something else also needs to be done. My trigger point is at that time, business anatomy is born. Like human anatomy, you have so many organs. We have to first understand. IT guys, usually we don't put time to understand business anatomy. In a human body, in IT, if you take, maybe we focus on health, brain and liver or brain and heart, for example. But what about other parts? As a human body, it should be healthier, right? Then I realized, I think, what about business model? Whatever your vision has to be changed. And your business strategy has to be changed with this technology fusion. And your key performance indicators have to be redefined. So like that, I come up with 12 building blocks. At that time, 12 were not there in my mind. At that time, 6 or 5 were there, very honest, when I was in Tech Mahindra. Because my brain also learning at that time, right? So after I left Tech Mahindra, I did so many consulting engagements and mentoring engagements and also execution champion engagements. When I say that, I don't leave there, blueprint. I also made sure that it is implemented and the program is done. Then I learned, oh, okay, this is beyond that. That's where this business anatomy with the 12 building blocks born. If you say I am a CIO, or if you say I am a strategic business unit head in a system integrator XYZ, the fundamental question I ask is, hey guys, Mr. SI, are you ready to digitalize these 4 business clusters or 12 building blocks? That is the next generation company. In fact, I left Tech Mahindra to start one of the world's first business technology company, not IT company. I should start a business technology company. This business technology company means the technology which will create new opportunities at the business, right? So with that, I think first point. So the anatomy has to be understood, whether you are a CAO. And CAO was also what, when in past, if you look at, you came from that side,
Let's
Jagdish.
let's go one by one. So Vinay, can you bring up the 12 building blocks? Yeah. So can you just explain? I think you explained it. So let me give you my view of it. The first one you're
Yeah.
talking about the business blueprint in terms of like what is your digital business vision, how will your business model change, how will your business strategy change, and what kind of business outcomes you will drive from digital transformation. Is that correct? Did I read it correctly?
Yeah, I think that's right. So this is a CXO's board and chief strategy officer, business unit heads have to sit together. This fusion of technologies, if they come together, how my business model change? A
Yeah,
bank is doing non-banking activities, a new business model with technology.
that's right. That's right. So then, yeah, the second digitalization cluster is like, your technology itself, because if it is going to take a much bigger landscape, much bigger play in the business, then, you need to look at it from a strategy, governance, and architecture point of view, and it has to become more broad-based, isn't it? I mean, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so IT governance is gone. So you have to come with a digital technology governance. That means you have now more technologies coming in. When I say the convergence happened, there are 20 plus technologies are there today. The way you govern and also the software engineering is changing today with all these hyper automations like DevSecOps or SRE, then low code, no code, AI, ML, all these are RPA. So the governance has to be changed. That is technology governance. The strategy
Yeah,
here is when three technologies come together, how your technology strategy will be, and when three technologies or four technologies come together, how your architecture will change. Your architecture was defined probably IT architecture. You have to redesign that. That's the
yeah,
foundation. Right. Yeah.
it has to be cloudy.
Sorry, Jagdish.
I said it has to be cloudified.
All right. That's one aspect. Yeah. So now a lot of things, right? Some programmable networks are there, and the architecture. It's like I basically have an architecture for a two-story building with IT architecture. I'm looking for now seven-story building. Probably my architecture may not work. I may need to
Yeah,
redesign completely.
that's right.
Right.
So yeah. So then the next one is the offerings cluster.
Yeah, you have R&D. If you look at all these big companies, automotive also, there are a lot of money they spent on R&D. Of course, services also, there is an R&D required for introducing. So how technologies will change the product? Today, if you look at a car, it has 1 million lines of software code. A car is considered as a software system, big systems of systems. You have to test the car like an application. So any product you take today are injected with software, whether a baby diaper or a bed sheet or a chair, it doesn't matter. They are injected with software, they're becoming intelligent. So what does it mean? If I am the head of the business unit, I should know that I need new products to be introduced to the market. I have to work with CTO, CDO, CAO to make sure that my products are instrumented. They become intelligent. I can enable. So that's part one. And when it comes to the services, the customer services, the technology is changing the whole landscape. I want to provide now anywhere, anytime, using any device. Omnipresent services possible only when you have technologies. Personalizations. Okay, today you look at, and tomorrow you look at now metaverse and all. After 5, 10 years, the complete services landscape will change. So that's where the technologies are driving now the product designs and services. You have to know
Yeah.
that.
So
How if I am a system integrator, strategic business unit head, or a CEO, I should also look at how I can offer services to digitalize the products, digitalize the services, not just processes.
yeah. So we have moved towards the digitalization cluster, the last one, business operations.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Again, if you look at the operations, you have COOs and then chief sales officers. All processes, if you look at in the industry, I think you are from automotive. I'm sure you have 14 processes at high level, abstract level, right? Take it as a value chain. So I have to make sure that those processes are digitalized. That means how I can reduce the human interventions in that process. So process digitalization is one thing. Then workplaces. If it is automotive, or workplace could be a shop floor, a smart factory. If it is a retail store, it is a smart retail store where you have a virtual reality, augmented reality type of a mirror where you can try your attire. So the workplace is contextual, but technologies are again changing the workplaces. And finally, the operating model, you imagine during pandemic time, we started virtual operations. Of course, IT is known for, we as a system integrators known for these remote operations for a long time, 20 years, 30 years. But other industries are not known for it. It was very new. But today, the operating models means your organization structures changing. New roles are getting introduced like chief digital officer, chief mobile officer, chief data officer. So what that means, what new roles, new behaviors, new skills, and real-time communication collaborations. Decision making is happening on the fly, and most of the decisions are happening with analytics, data-based. This operating model has to be completely redesigned. So that's where I said, my dear friends, if you want to see digitalization of your company, look at these 12 building blocks. Don't look at myopic view. This is written in my book. This itself is a big chapter. All 12 building blocks, very detailed explanation is done.
Yeah, no, I can understand. In fact, I'm really bogged down by my eco VSR. So let's move on to the next part of it, which is the next 12. So Vinay, can you bring up the next 12?
Yeah, so if I say that, my dear friends, you have to digitalize your building blocks, but it's not like every customer is ready to digitalize everything. It's always evolutionary, modular. Some people may start with process, some people may start with products or services. It all depends on whatever budgets they have, capabilities, and their competition market trends. But what I identified from my experience in the last 7-8 years I've been swimming, there is no common language for digital. There is no common understanding. And there were so many great business excellence models like Malcolm's Baldwin's National Quality Award, or in India also we have something like, I think, Ramakrishna Bajaj Award. And when I was working in Tata, we used to have JRDQV, Quality Value, Tata Business Excellence Model. All those were basically great models, but they probably did not bring the aspects of digital because at that time digital was not there. You may challenge me, that means those business excellence model doesn't work, but they will work. But they don't bring the digital aspects into your mind. So first thing I thought is, you cannot execute digitally with the traditional thinking which you have last 15, 20, 30 years. Your thinking process has to be changed. That's where I introduced, you have design thinking, you have computational thinking, you have critical thinking, systems thinking. There is a new thinking is required called lean digital thinking. I said digital thinking is fat. You must always make sure the lean aspects are factored in your digital so that you can really optimize our resources and all. Lean was known probably in 1913 onwards, 12 onwards, Ford started that. But 1990s it became very popular. That means the third industrial revolution. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. The thinking has to be not just lean, it's digital. When you combine both, these principles are born. It is a manifesto for digitalization in one way, if you look at here. So one is visualizing, I want to visualize the digital future.
Yeah.
What is the thinking process required here? One, better today, better tomorrow. It's also my company name, BT and BT. You cannot cannibalize your business just for the sake of future, and you can't just stop the future just to safeguard your current. So you need to have a two-speed businesses at a time. One going at marathon speed, other going at sprint speed. My dear friends, please get that thinking. You can't work with old, you can't only limit on the future, right? So that's where two speed or better today, better tomorrow. Then change is pretty faster today. You cannot say, I think you remember, Jagdish, when SIs come to you, myself used to say that change management, it is fixed, the scope is frozen. Do you think it will work now?
No.
Even customers don't know their requirements. Every minute, every day, they are evolving. So what is the most important thing for the CIOs and the system integrators and the businesses is, change is not only constant, which we learned, it is also instant. That means you have to be ready for that. And third is, of course, you have to build new skills, new capabilities, new behaviors. So all those things are very clearly explained. So you have to visualize the future by factoring these things. Then you get a new thinking to visualize the digital future. So that is the first part. And second part You have to acquire a new digital, lean digital thinking to execute well your digital businesses. For that, one of the principle, if you look at lean digital, lean is one principle for me. There are 11 more additional principles got added in addition to lean. That's where it lean digital, right? So fourth principle, if you look at here, how to eliminate the wastes. In an organization, during digitalization, you have to contextualize your waste. In the second, third industrial revolution, we said waiting time, overproduction, or rework.
VSR, just to be conscious of time, let's quickly run through these because we have some more agenda to cover.
Sure. I think I will just run through, just to give an idea. What I'm saying here is, okay, do I have a thinking to predict and improve my business performance? I don't care about AI, ML, analytics, data. That's the next step. But I have to always look at, oh, can I predict my business? Like what happened, what will happen, if it happens, what I have to do. So that thinking process you have to look at. Can I optimize human interventions in my sales process, in my operational process, marketing, production, what I have to do? Okay, and today there is no need to come at one place. There is a real-time contextual communication collaboration through, like today we are doing here. A lot of businesses are happening globally through virtual operations. You have to acquire such type of a mindset. Then privacy, safety. Then another important thing, when change is instant and constant, Jagdish, one important thing we have to learn. When I was in Satyam, we used to drive 2,500 startups. We never said we are one big company. So you have to divide your company into multiple startups and acquire that agility, risk-taking appetite, and run that big, huge company as multiple startups, even you are a GE or you are something else, right? That's where the execution. Then social responsibility, and last two things are very important. You always don't sell now services and products, sell unforgettable moments of experience. You should learn what is experience to the people. You have to learn how to design the experience like you design the products. And you also need to have, when it is digitalization, people have a misconception that the humanity will die. But with digitalization also, you have to bring that human dimension, the emotional aspects. This is what the whole 12 principles, 4 thinking clusters. Again, a big chapters are available in the book. These 12 principles, the anatomy, 12 building blocks. That's where the book, I think, it talk about what to digitalize and acquiring digital mindset. These 2 parts are there in the book.
No, I think some good takeaways. One is like, you have to visualize the future, you have to think about it. Another thing, you have to think about execution excellence, whether it's operations, whether it's business performance, Muda, non-value added, collaboration, very important with the including the startup ecosystem, and then being socially responsible and centering your entire strategy on the human perspective. So really, really good. Yes. Let's move to the next part.
Yeah.
This is the 12 by 12. Next 5.
Yeah, this is what we call the 12 by 12. Or, we basically developed a 12 by 12 matrix assessment tool that we call Lean Digital Quotient Finder. So what I built in summary, like ISO, like CMM, you have now a digital business excellence model with the 12 building blocks, 12 principles, 620 lean digital practices. If you want to really test whether you are digital or not, or the whole anatomy requires 620 practices. One organ, let us say process, then maybe 60 to 70 practices. You have to test them against that and say that these are all the gaps and you have to fill them. That's a good start we have to do. Don't do it ad hocly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Contextualize it for your own environment and your own business to say that, hey, what is my priority? You have to prioritize them as well, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what is the last 5 in that 12 by 12 by
5? The 5 is now, you know now what to digitalize. You know acquiring that mindset. And you also know when you say I am digital, you have to assess it against these 12 principles. Anything you say digital, okay, my business model is digital. Then I will ask, do you have all these 12 principles embedded into your business model? If you are not, then I'm sorry, you are not digital, right? So that's where I think you understand where you are. But now where you are, you understand, you know the gaps, you know the problem statements, you know how to create the possibilities, but how to change your organization from today to tomorrow. You call it as a transformation, whatever. Okay. So that's where the lean digitalization is a path, is a journey. Once you are very clear about where you are. So that's where this I call it as lean digitalization journey. In the beginning also I told you we are one of the best probably want to become an aspiration, a business technology company. This is I call it as a business engineering life cycle, like software engineering life cycle. So you have to inspire, that means the cultural and common understanding, common purpose. Tell them that this is digitalization. So you are completely creating the momentum. You are 1 lakh employees or 10,000 employees or 100 employees, it doesn't matter. You have to inspire. That itself is a big subject because the people are moving from here to there. Then you have to assess 12 by 12 or 1 by 12, whatever. Depends on the appetite and the management commitment, budget, resources, etc. Assess. After assess, you are very clear digital strengths and weaknesses. Then you have a portfolio of problems and possibilities. Then you prioritize them. Then you innovate. Again, as I said, the innovation here, it's not like just simply innovate and all. To fill a gap, a digital gap, you might need to digitalize a process, or you might need to digitalize a product, or you might need to digitalize a service. That means all these three needs to be digitalized. How you do that, you have to design a solution. That's innovate. Then experiment is nothing but after that innovation, when you design the solutions here, you will have the software engineering will come there. So till the first three steps, it is a complete inspire, assess, innovate. Unfortunately, if you observe here, Jagadish, the system integrators were not great in the inspire and assess. Even innovate, they are known for only few things, not for all building blocks, if you observe, right? So the experiment comes, that means what? Maybe you come up with solution. I have to digitalize a business model. I have to digitalize process. I have to digitalize product. I have to digitalize service. Then you derive what services, IT services needs to be done, which technologies are required, what applications needs to be built, what infrastructure you have to set up, and all will happen. Then you come up with minimal viable product model. Then evolve, experiment, pivot, and finally, institutionalize is another big subject where change management will happen. You train the users, slowly inject whatever experimented as a solutions, they are all institutionalized. So this is again a very clearly explained for anyone who is very new to the digitalization. This is like a handbook to see that, wow, okay, I have to do this, and these are all the templates, frameworks. So a lot of templates, frameworks also explained in the book.
Okay. Okay. No, I think this is really helpful. I'm again like bottom by the info that I'm seeing here. Just trying different experiments. No, it's not working. It's not working. So anyway, VSR, we have we still have some more questions. So with your permission and with audience permission, I want to go for maybe another 10-15 minutes more. But I think we need to be real quick here, VSR,
Right,
right?
right, yeah, yeah.
Over time, it's 3 minutes past 6. So VSR, I think great framework. 12 by 12 by 5, the 5. The journey of 5. Inspire, assess, and right up to institutionalize, which is like an overall, which is the most difficult part, the scaling of those innovations.
Yeah.
Uh, I was actually speaking at at one of the seminar. Uh, I would say congregations of a large group where they are running a lot of POCs, but 70% of them are stuck at a POC stage. They're not able to broad base it. They're not able to institutionalize because it takes much more to bring something into the mainstream of operations, right? So very, very good learnings, and I think it provides a very holistic framework of assessments as well as gives you a kind of journey path, priorities, and all of that for transformation. Now let's move on. One question that I wanted to ask you is like you have been in, we have lots of technology managers and CIOs in the audience, and one of the things that they're all curious about, how best to leverage SIs and what are the strengths and weaknesses of SIs, and how best to leverage them?
See, SI's extraordinary success stories are there. I remember when I started in big companies and all, we used to say we will reduce your total cost of ownership at least 50%, 45%. Right? That's where the story we used to have. That's the value proposition we used to sell to you. Maybe you are in GE or you are in Tata. So what is the end of the day? The CAO at that time looking at is my applications have to be stabilized, reduce the number of tickets, or develop new applications. My IT infrastructure has to be available, reliable, etc., etc., etc. Right? I think we mastered in that. The system integrators mastered in that, and we showed to the world. That's where I think if you look at what are all the things we have done and all. But is it enough? As a system integrator in the digital era, that's where I told the reason why I come. Of course, my dream is very big. It is not easy to realize. Okay, if you want to have this age, digital age, system integrator, we need to go beyond infrastructure and applications. I call them as a DIMS and DAMs. Digital Application Management Services is a DAMS. DIM is Digital Infrastructure Management Services. That's why I used to say that to my team when I was in Tech Mahindra. We have to move up from DIMS and DAMs, right? So now what? You have so many other things needs to be as a SI. I have to acquire new capabilities to climb up the ladder. Today, the budget is moving from CIO to CMO. It's already happened. Tomorrow, the budget will go from CIO to CHRO, CPO, CDO, like that. The total budgets are slowly moving to businesses. Then my capabilities are not enough even to sell. My capabilities are not enough to impress the business executives. So as a SI, we were extraordinarily well. We did it. Two challenges we have to face. One, we have to climb up. Okay, some companies are trying, but still long way to go. Can an Indian SI help the customers to design a new business model using technologies? First time technology has become a driving force. A lot of people challenge me even today, technology can never become a driving force. It is only enabler. We can have a separate debate and discussion, probably 10 hours. Technology today is a driving force, no doubt about it. Then, as an SI, I should be able to tell my customer, okay, we have some elements of engineering services element. You saw that in our SIs, but they are still not known for great innovations. They are known for small components. Somebody gives you CAD diagram and you probably draw it, analyze, and probably small component innovations are there. But can you design a new washing machine? Can you be part of that? You need not be designing everything, but you should be able to tell that, oh, my technology is helping now to come up with new features in the washing machine. It's a product. So they have to climb up the ladder. That's number one. Like 12 building blocks I told. So they have to look at, if not 12, maybe 6 or 5, whatever. Second important thing, I am suspecting and worrying 15 years IT outsourcing might die. Okay, and there is no surprise. The reason is a lot of research happening in the whole world, autonomous software development. Today it's not autonomous, it is automated. As I said, DevSecOps, or you have low code, no code, and RPA for SDLC, AI for software development, AI for testing, right? All these things started now, and software reliability, site reliability engineering, infrastructure as a code, all these things are what your infrastructure applications are all happening through automation. You imagine everything I can do through automation, most of these rudimentary tasks, why I need offshoring or outsourcing, right? So I think system integrators have to evolve now when slowly this nearly autonomous engines are getting built. What is that? It's not like I go and open the center in US and open the center in UK and say I'm still Indian company. No, I'm sorry. You have to continue with outsourcing. Still, you have to deliver services in the era of autonomous software governments. How the system integrators can prepare that from now is the greatest challenge. So climb up the ladder, and when you're getting into your base things like applications, DIMS and DAMs, your complete governance, your tools, your automations, everything change. Prepare your teams for that. I think these two are very important messages I have.
Okay, no, that's great. That's great. So let's move on now. So I'll pick up some audience questions. Let's make it rapid fire, VSR. quick ones. And then we'll move towards the last leg of our questions, which is our rapid fire section itself, and your social digital entrepreneurship. Okay.
Sure.
So we have one question from Seshu, which is like, what is Lean Digital vis-a-vis Industry 4.0?
See, Industry 4.0 means, I think we all know that there is a cyber system, probably last 40, 50 years we are talking. But the cyber system got redefined today with the convergence of...
Quick one, yes, sir. You have to be quick
So
about it.
Industry 4.0 is like how the technology fusion will change the mechanical systems, optical systems, electrical systems, and industrial systems and all. So how the technology will change is the only Industry 4.0. But to make it real, you need to have a different mindset and thinking. That thinking you will get from the 12 principles and make the I 4.0 reality.
Okay, no, that's a great point. Industry 4.0 in a way is subsumed in your entire Lean Digital thinking. It will be, I think, when I look at your model, it will be part of your, primarily part of your operations, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have, some appreciation from Amarinder saying that VSR, you have to write another book on your life and professional experiences, candid sharing and storytelling. Thank
Great.
you for that appreciation.
Thank you, Amarinder. Thank you so much.
We have some claps coming from Vikram. And I think this came from Ravi, spot on.
Hi, Ravi.
Yeah, now question from Amrinder. Again, it's a rapid fire. Yes, sir, you're good at spotting trends. What do you think is the future of enterprise IT? Which technologies will lead and how will they be adopted? Okay, so let's apply the rule of three. Future of enterprise IT, three things and three technologies that
Okay.
will...
Like 2010 to 2015 SMAC, Social Mobile Analytics Cloud. 2015 to 2020 IoT, little bit of MR, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain started. And now from 2020 to 2025, I see the great adoption of artificial intelligence, machine learning, internet of nano things, not things, internet of small things, even it can be put it into human bodies, the brain chip interfaces and all there. And the blockchain become prominent in 2025. And last but not least is we probably get addicted to virtual worlds. That's where the immersive experiences, more and more the consumers look for. So metaverse is going to become a great game changer where you get into virtual world with a virtual reality, augmented reality. You create what you can't create in real world. Most of the customers will demand for that before buying any services or anything. I think these are all sort of, I say, the trends you can look at.
Okay, that's great. Then we have some good word insights on digital strategy framework. Then I have one question from Pawan, which is guidance to professionals over 20 years experience to cope up in today's dynamic scenarios where technology is changing very fast in IT, OT, analytics, cloud. They need to compete with the young generation. Yeah. So how do you keep up with the young generation?
So this is a reverse mentoring, Jagdish. Already the trend started. The mentoring is like we gray-haired guys. Only I have some covered. So we gray-haired guys, it's not like we only the mentors. I think there is a reverse mentoring happening even from a 20 years kid. I asked my son, "Can you teach me how to play the game because I am getting some interest on metaverse now." Okay, I don't know. I am not a guy who can play the games. I am asking, "Can you tell me?" So it's a reverse, I think, reverse mentoring. So I think that's very important.
Actually, it can be a two-way mentoring, that you get mentored in the new mindsets and new technologies from the younger generation, and they benefit from your wisdom. So it can be a
Yes,
two-way.
it's a collaboration.
Yeah. Now I have next one, which is I think it's a very, very important question, VSR, that all these operational technologies are walled gardens, right? And how do you bring a transformation when the gardens are walled?
See, today we are talking about ecosystem of ecosystems. Digitalization is not just living in my own world, my company. Even there are competing products. You are basically forced to integrate That's where all these microservices or RESTful APIs things are coming in. So it doesn't matter what platforms with different suppliers, partners, your customers have. The key message I am telling is no need to worry about what heterogeneity they have, but worry about the pipes and plumbing what we have to build. Those pipes and plumbing, you have any necessary tools today? Whether APIs are there, any other tools are there, how faster you can do that, how better you can do it, extend your business ecosystem, irrespective of heterogeneous things, and then leverage the more opportunities. I think that's where I can help you.
Okay, that's great. The question from Jeanette, I can take how is the structure impacting the process of decision making. Maybe you can add a few cents here. I think structure is very important because from a decision making point of view. So if you in the new world, you can create those empowered structures and very clearly outline the lines of accountability and decision making. I think that's going to go a long way. And I think here is where, especially when you talk about experimentation, VSR, giving some budgets to small little budgets to people for experimentation and let them blow it. That's perfectly okay. Let them try some startups, uh, but just empower that experimentation part. Don't keep it
Right.
restricted. Yeah. And so this is, I think, again, now let's go to one of the questions that I had for you is about the open innovation. So what's your view on citizen development?
Okay, citizen development is something dicey thing. If it is citizen development is something happening in the last 5 years where the business guys are taking decisions to procure some SaaS product available even without the intervention of the CAO or IT. So I think the governance has to be built. That's where I have written in my book how the citizen IT development has to be done. What business executives can do themselves. That's called citizen IT development. So don't try to have within the businesses so many IT silos and do yourselves because of the hurry and all. The CIO and this citizen IT, that means the IT within the business unit and central CIO have to come up with a governance, and business guys cannot do everything, and you decide what business guys can do and use that as an asset rather competition. I think that's also I written very clearly in my book.
Yeah, and I think it is your last question around the decisions and structures. I think beyond the structures, there's a governance at play. Structures cannot take all the decisions. Sometimes shared decisions are there, which need to use the process of governance. And I think one of the least understood or applied principles in IT management is governance, and that's where a lot of adoption. So I have another comment from Bhavani, which is digital transformation of best much worse outcomes. Lean digital thinking is bang on by clearly addressing that issues. Yeah, I think we have talked about it in previous clarity chats also, Bhavani, that
Hi,
it was
Bhavani.
like that in a rural road without much controls and all of that. You had lots of speed breakers. You want to replace it with a 4-lane highway. If you don't take away the speed breakers, you are actually going to be slower than before. Okay, so
Just Jagdish, one point when people talked about structure, I see that digitalization will change the whole structures with this blockchain in the next 10 years. Decentralized autonomous organizations. That structure is required for decision making. Structure is required to put some controls, and structure is required to guide probably. If all those things can be done by analytics, AIs with recommendations, and policies are taken care by smart contracts in blockchain, day by day the structures will become thin and flat.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, traceability and accountability that can come into that business process of decision making and governance. I mean, nothing like that. That's I think that's where probably the AI bots will sit on the boardroom for
Right.
that. Okay, so here's a comment from Subbu. Truly inspiring and insightful conversations. Very passionate experience sharing by VSR. Enjoyed the conversation. Thanks, Subbu, for attending. Now let's
Thanks,
move to
Subodh.
the last, yeah, let's move to the last part of it, which is the rapid fire. So this is really rapid fire VSR. So you have to answer in 2 sentences. Your budget is 2 sentences.
Oh
So
my
I'll go.
goodness. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So why should an enterprise use open innovation?
I don't have internal capabilities, skills to design these new solutions, business models, business strategies, governance, whatever, and all those things. I cannot build everything within with all these technology innovation. Then I have to depend external experts called gig economy today. So leverage the globally distributed specialist and get the things done. That's where open innovation. In fact, we built a platform for that. Co-innovator, my company.
Great, great. So yes, you are into your fingers are into too many things. How do you manage time between so many priorities? Give us some 2 or 3 productivity hacks that you have, personal productivity hacks.
Jagdish, my strength is responsibility, learning, and focus. Focus is my strength. If you have responsibility and no focus, then you fail. So I am a portfolio manager. I am not a multitasker. So you know
Oh,
the difference. Portfolio management is different from multitasking. So I think in that way I know when to kill what. So I
oh,
always plan 15 minutes of my time other than my day-to-day work. Otherwise I can't survive because I have to do something different. 15% of my time go to whether community or technology or leadership or something or politics discussing on that.
okay. No, that's great. I think that's a very good one. Responsibility with focus. When you look back, one thing that you should have done differently.
Maybe I could have planned well my startup. I came with hyper confidence after great successes, of course, failures in corporate. So a lot of unlearnings. Probably if I start startup now, instead of what I did, I could have planned a better cash flow because I underestimated. Your dream is like a Bahubali script, but you have a budget of something, so it doesn't work. So the problem with me is I have Bahubali scripts, so they require a lot of this one, right? So I think I underestimated. I'm a little bit struggling that. So I mean, not many people understand the future the way you want to build and the way the customers or nations require. For that, you need the like-minded people, even the investors who can understand that future. The dream has to be sold, right? So I think I underestimated that.
Okay, so here is a creative solution. So if you had taken the DRDO option, you would definitely not be in this ClarITea chat now. So what would you have done today if you had gone to DRDO? Visualize.
See, I'm a very passionate, energetic guy, and I love my nation. I could have followed the path of Dr. Kalam. Of course, he did not marry. I married. It doesn't matter. But I could have followed Dr. Kalam's path to reach a stage of pinnacle in the DRDO. Maybe Dr. VSR or Dr. Rao. Unfortunately, I'm not doctor today.
Okay, so you would be a doctor and you would be next. That's great. Okay, what's one career option you tried but failed miserably in?
This total my 7 years of my experimentation. 2 years I completely out of business, Jagdish. I ventured into politics with one of the superstars here. So I ventured into politics. So I liked the way he is thinking and all. So I redefined new age politics. Basically, I went there not to build not to get into politics, but to build a new age politics ecosystem, right? So I went there and I basically created a lot of institution building blocks. A lot of people think that politics is easy. No, politics is maybe 100 times bigger than the organizations what we are driving today. And it is driven by volunteers, not by committed people like us who take salaries. So how do you define new age politics? Cultivate that new age politics, humanity, and a great society is what I built, building blocks and all. After that, I realized thinking is different, execution is different. Politicians are politicians. What they speak, they don't do it. So I went there to become a change agent. If I can reach today 1,000 people, if I engage with the star, I can reach 1 lakh people to experiment my ideas to bring new age politics. But I failed. Bounce back to my business. 2018 onwards. No politics, focus on business.
Okay, no, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So VSR now, so so this is the revenge time. You get to ask me a question.
Why you create so many problems to system integrators? Why you don't make us sleep in the nights? What's your problem? You are CEO of so many big companies, right? So always we are firefighting escalations. Some customers say, I don't want to see your face. Don't show me next time. So all we have to accept, right? So whatever, whether your mistake or team mistake. So why? What is it because SIs are not meeting your requirements or it is a customer attitude?
I think most of the times, there is a facade, with the SIs. The reality is something different, and I have worked very well with the SIs who have been very, very frank and honest with me in terms of what their problems are. And then the discussion changes to I trying to help them solve their problems. Like sometimes we
Oh,
have done what I call as planned escalations. So we'll say that this guy is so the account manager really wants to do his best for me. Okay, but he's not getting the organization support. So there'll be a planned escalation where I'll call up somebody, I say, guys, do whatever this guy wants. You want to support him, otherwise I'm going to go. I'm going to become nasty, right? And so I think it is the bureaucracy of SI organizations that really stops the people on the ground from delivering the best services to the
right.
clients. I mean, my only appeal to SIs will be like just empower your frontline people, let them do what is best for the client. You do your postmortems later, right? But at least
Right.
allow them to work with a free hand, and your customer will be happy.
Right. Great. Yeah. Agree. A bureaucracy should not delay the decision making or something. Yeah.
So it's your bureaucracy which makes us create problems for you. Okay. So
Yeah.
thank you, VSR. Thank you, all my audience. I know it was a little bit buggy today, with some echo coming, and then this echo is going within few seconds. It's been a little bit jarring for me, and that's why I've been much more subdued today than VSR. Anyway, thankfully VSR has made up with his flamboyance on whatever my subdued today, I being subdued today. But thank you all so much for joining, for asking your questions, and you keep the show going. And it's like people like VSR, who are coming to the show and bringing in their in wisdom of the gray hair, I may call it. Um, and VSR, congratulations on the book launch, and I hope this book does well, and it's a new way of thinking about digital transformation a little bit more holistically to all the leaders and out there. So
Sure.
thank you, VSR, so much for coming on ClarITea Chat, and
Thank you.
thank you, all my audience for joining in. Next week we have a very, very senior leader joining us, one of the former group CIOs. I'll reveal the name on Friday as usual. But keep tuned, and see you next Saturday 5 p.m. with a cup of tea. Bye bye.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
great. I enjoyed.
thank you.